And most of the first downs for BYU, quite frankly, came on Florida State defensive penalties. So Bobby Bowden, his team leading 22-0 as we head into quarter number 3 against his old buddy Lavelle Edwards. Nick Maddox is going to drop back with Jeff Chaney as Florida State will have the football first. Remember, they won the toss and deferred, so they'll get their hands on it to start this third quarter. Hodgman's kick. Good one. And good enough that Florida State will have to work from the 20 is number 20. Nick Maddox makes the grab in the end zone. Here's how the first half went. Chris Wenke rolling out, getting a lot of pressure, throws back in a ball that Bob still thinks he was trying to throw away, but Javon Walker says, I'll take it for a touchdown. And it was Wenke. The quick out, 3-yard touchdown to Atruz Bell. Jamal Reynolds hits Engelman from behind. The ball squirts to the end zone, and Florida State had a safety. And then on the reverse, Atruz Bell, his second touchdown of the night from 6 yards out on the handoff from Minor. That's where we stand at this point. And Chris Wenke will gear him up from the 20-yard line. They'll go on the ground to Travis Minor. Dances back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about all.
I guarantee you, if Bobby Bowden didn't call that reverse from the 5-yard line for the touchdown, Mark Richt called it for him.
That's right.
The head coach will like this one.
And on the first play of the second half, one of BYU's defenders goes down. Jeff Holtry, the outside linebacker, a senior. One of their leaders, 250-pound outside backer, is down on the field.
The talent he faces. He doesn't want to lose the confidence of his team. He doesn't want to get them too far down, so he just wants them to improve. He knows that the odds are at this point they're probably not going to come back and beat this good Florida State football team.
He was saying the other day, Swanee, that he just wants to come out of this healthy and move on and win the conference.
Well, Staley has a concussion. He's not going to play the second half. The defensive lineman, he's going to be evaluated. He won't play. And right now they've got another player down, so he's kind of losing that battle right now, and he just wants to hold it together.
In fact, they're still working Jeff Holtry, who is still down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you can't knock the BYU schedule anymore. There was a time years ago that you might, but not any longer. They've played Washington in the past and a bunch of other tough teams.
Wenke almost intercepted. Justin Enna just about had it. And had he held on, he could have maybe made the end zone, but he dropped it.
Enna was all-conference player last year. And he is big. He's 260 pounds, and not a good throw by Chris Wenke.
Wenke 18 of 28. 180 yards and a couple of touchdowns. So that was a poor throw. And it's 3rd and 10. BYU would love to get a defensive stop on the opening series of the third quarter. Wenke throw in. Oh, a one-handed catch almost. Morgan just kept looking for it. Left hand, right hand out in front of him.
He was bobbling it for a while, and he ran a few steps and couldn't hold on. Chris throws this ball. It's a blitz. There's single coverage out here. There's nobody out here with them. He turns around and locates it. Believe it or not, they do this in practice quite often. He just couldn't grab the handle on that one.
Left, right, ground, and a punt. Cottrell. This high kick. Rigel comes up on it. It's going to be a flag as the special teams player, as Florida State covers it. Rufus Brown did not give him enough room to make that catch. Rufus Brown came down, got tangled up with the would-be blocker and just barreled into Rigel.
One of the new rules this year is there is no split crews. When there are two teams from separate conferences playing each other, that's obviously a foul.
Yep.
2-yard radius foul in the kicking team. 5-yard penalty. First down.
All these officials are from the Big Ten.
So BYU will have the ball in pretty decent field position when we come back. Now, after a 3 and out by Florida State, BYU takes over. Brett Engelman at quarterback again. He started the game. He'll work from the 45-yard line. Best starting field position of the night. Sataki, the fullback, is going to make that field position even a little better out near midfield. Let's get an injury update from Swanee.
Brad, that's Jeff Holtry sitting on the bench over there. He stretched the ligaments in his right knee. They're going to evaluate it further to make sure that that's the only problem, but that's his right knee. And last year, he injured his left knee. So the people who know this young man's history should be aware that this is his right knee he's injured today. Last year he had his left knee, and it's stretched ligaments, Brett.
All right. Well, he was blocked to a certain degree there by Florida State.
He was in Michigan for a while.
Yep. Sat out 98 after a transfer, a couple seasons in Ann Arbor. Talk about injury problems. They got some early, too. Okay. Intercepted. Overthrown and picked off. Cleavon Thomas had a gift there.
Ball looked like it was deflected. Maybe tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Cleavon Thomas had 3 picks a year ago, and he's got one here. Yep, might have been.
Yeah, it's close. Looking right all the way. Yeah, it's deflected.
Just changed the trajectory a little, didn't it? Kevin Emanuel.
Instead of being outside where the receiver is, the ball being deflected brought it back inside. And Thomas, to his credit, kept his eyes on the ball all the way and picked it off.
Give Kevin Emanuel an assist on that one. And Florida State takes over now in BYU territory at the 49. Chris Wenke, nice play fake, sets up deep and goes down deep.
Ardell Game Solutions early on was put pressure on Wenke, and that's what they're doing coming out the second half.
That's Nolly's second sack, a loss of 11.
I think what's happened early on in the ball game is that no huddle kind of got to the defense and kind of got them out of their rhythm, and they talked about it at halftime and said, hey, we'll just call it and go with it.
Nolly had 7 sacks a year ago for the Cougars, a couple tonight in the opener. Second down, 21 now. From the gun, Wenke, quick throw, and he threw a little bit low, and having to go to a knee was Javon Walker, so that stops that play right there after a gain of about 4. Still a 3rd and long situation.
You know, Chris Wenke wants to complete every pass, but there are some plays where the defense is going to win. I mean, sometimes they're going to sack you, and sometimes they're going to be negative plays. Just don't make a bad play out of it, and he didn't do that by taking the sack. And sometimes you can't do things.
Anquan Bolden's going to try to do something on his own here. They just throw him a little quick in, and he only got about 4 more yards, and it's 4th down.
Whenever you get sacked for a big loss on 1st down, and it's like 2nd and 20, the chances of you picking up a 1st down on that series are very small. Just don't make a big mistake.
They did get a couple quick completions that netted them about 8 of those yards back, but Cottrell will have to come in to punt. Mike Rigel waits at the 10-yard line.
Keith Cottrell to punt.
Another nice kick. Fair catch. Florida State almost got there. Touchback in BYU. A work from the 20-yard line. BYU defense did their job. Their offense has it when we return.
A pitcher threw Willie Mays a slow curveball. Mays swung and missed by a mile. The pitcher figured he had Mays right where he wanted him, so he threw the very same pitch again. Mays blasted it 450 feet for a home run. It was then the pitcher realized he wasn't setting Mays up. Mays was setting him up.
When you're an original, you do it your own way. Original Coors.
Now that's original, man.
Hey, what's a sirloin stack?
Well, it's skim-da-bam-da-boom, diddly-bom-boom.
Skim-da-bam-da-boom, diddly-bom-boom?
Skim-da-bam-da-boom, diddly-bom-boom.
Yeah, and it's got hody-ody-ody.
Hody-ody-ody.
Chili's sirloin stack. It's a mouthful.
How does your gray beard or mustache reflect on you?
Man, I look old.
Get new vitamin-enriched Just for Men gel. The Rejuvenator, specially made to penetrate coarse gray in 5 minutes and match your hair. The Rejuvenator Just for Men gel.
Zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, zoom, 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 zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, 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 yeah. Zoom. Yeah, zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, you mom. Yeah, zoom, zoom, zoom. Shake it, shake it. Yeah, zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, the news is your LDS mission is in Jacksonville, Florida. That's some of the BYU faithful here at Alltel Stadium. Their team's down 22-0, though. As Florida State, though, again was a 3 and out. But BYU has only gotten to the 35-yard line of Florida State. An interception, gave up a safety. They have struggled offensively. Had one good-looking drive early in the first quarter. Engelman from the shotgun. On the roll. Got a man open across the field and found it. Penalty marker down as he got tagged out of bounds. Let's see if it's going to be a late hit on Florida State. Looked maybe like Jarrell Hudson got over there and hit him as he let go of the football. There was a couple Knoll defenders over on that sideline as Brett had to take a shot to get that pass thrown back near the hash mark. So it's first down either way. He'd probably like to have the completion, but they're going to take the penalty.
Roughing the passer. Defense. 15 yards. Tacked on. First down.
There comes Hudson.
Yeah. He got the interception at the end of the first half, as you mentioned. And, Florida State has always been lived on the edge as far as penalties are concerned. They've been the most penalized team in the ACC for the last 3 or 4 years.
They usually don't mind the aggressive ones. They don't like the mental error ones.
Yeah, they don't mind the defensive ones. They hate them on offense.
Yep. First down at the 46. Engelman steps in, fires in and out of the hands. Maybe should have been caught by Rigel, but he couldn't hold on to it. Well, a reminder, Monday night in an ABC Sports primetime event, Tiger Woods is going to go head-to-head against one of the PGA Tour's rising stars. If anybody can match up with him, well, at least Sergio Garcia can give you some fun. It's the Lincoln Financial Group Battle at Bighorn. Woods versus Garcia. That's Monday Night Live at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on ABC. Follow the hole-by-hole action of the Battle at Bighorn with analysis and recaps online at abcsports.com.
How can you be that young
and be that good?
I don't
know. Second down at 10. Nice play fake by Brett Engelman. Now sets up, is going long. He's got a man out there who stumbled and couldn't quite make the catch. Ben Horton, had he not tripped at about the 22-yard line, may have been able to haul that one in.
Yeah, this is a well-designed play. I like getting the quarterback out of the pocket. He had single coverage down there. Horton just couldn't keep his feet and outrun the corner. Bottom of your screen, there goes Horton.
Watch him trip just a little bit.
A little holding there.
Yeah, that could have helped it, I guess.
There
was the slip.
Cody, the veteran that he is, this is his 4th year as a starter out there on the corner. But sometimes you get away with it.
Mickey Andrews, a longtime defensive coordinator, says Tate Cody has had a sensational preseason camp. Another one in the long line of great defensive backs that have played for Florida State. We got a timeout with 10 minutes, 54 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Score remains a shutout for the Noles, 22-0. An ABC Sports presentation of the Advantage Pigskin Classic is brought to you by Advantage Nutritional Products, smart nutrition for active people. Ford Motor Company, Burger King, Got the Urge, and Original Coors. When you're an original, you do it your own way. Original Coors. Beautiful nights. St. John's River outside where everybody hangs out down here by the river. Boy, you get down here for a Florida-Georgia football game, and you can't find a place to walk down there.
You know, I played in this stadium back when I came out of Purdue, played with the Dolphins when it was the old Gator Bowl.
Yep.
And I think it was the first professional game I ever played. It was the old Gator Bowl right here in this stadium, and it was just a downpour. Couldn't throw the ball. I couldn't hold the ball.
If you haven't been down here since those Gator Bowl days, you wouldn't recognize this place.
They've really done a nice job and on the water, and it's just delightful.
The home of the Jacksonville Jaguars of the National Football League. 8-time 3rd and 10 or more for BYU tonight, and it is a 3rd and 10 from the 46-yard line. Engelman, little stunt coming from the defense, and they got him.
They got to make decisions quicker than that.
Dockett got there. Florida State's defensive front had a stunt going, and BYU's offensive lineman just couldn't handle it.
You got to know who you can block and who you can't, and you got to know you got to get rid of the football. He had nobody downfield. They were all running away from him. He'll learn from this. These are learning films and tapes, but it's just the little bumps and bruises that go along with it.
Bad snap. Edmonds just got it away. And a penalty marker down.
I think they're roughing the punter, but Holtry, who was the snapper, was hurt on that defensive series the time before.
That's right. And out with that knee injury Swanee talked about. So the backup long snapper comes in. They're trying to say that they got a piece of that punt and shouldn't be roughing the punter penalty. The officials are disagreeing. So BYU is going to get to keep the football. Tough way to earn it for Edmonds, but he did it. Took one for the team.
Yep.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So another personal foul penalty. They had one, remember, on Hudson earlier on this BYU drive, and now on the special teams they pick one up, and that gives it back into the hands of the BYU offense. 10:06 to go, third quarter.
Let's take another look. See if we can see if anybody touches the ball. Can't tell from there really, but that is definitely roughing the punter.
Patrick Newton got down there and clipped his heels. So it's first down, Cougars. Brigham Young at its own 49-yard line. Looking for points. Engelman across the middle's got hooks on a crossing pattern, and margin hooks down to the 35. That's a pickup of 16 and a first down. And this is the deepest BYU's been in Florida State territory.
Margin hooks from the right side of the screen, right over the middle. Gibson is number 6. Little crossing route. Georgia Tech hit some big crossing routes against Florida State last year. That's the thing you do when you play Florida State and they're so dominant defensively. You go find somebody that has had some success against them, like Florida and Georgia Tech.
Right.
And you emulate those things.
Horton in motion. Engelman throws, and a flag's going to fly, and that's going to be pass interference, I would think, on Derek Gibson's on the tight end, Ofa Hengawi. He was draped all over him on that short pass, so it's going to be another Florida State penalty, I think.
Pass interference, defense, spot foul, automatic first down.
10 Florida State penalties, and the 5th on the defense, and the 3rd here in this last series of downs.
That's 10 penalties for 83 yards, so Mickey Andrews is not too happy about that one. But the coaches for Florida State would rather have the penalties and keep the aggressiveness than not be aggressive and not have any penalties.
Pittman in motion. First down, BYU. Engelman trying to scramble for some yardage. Gets swallowed under at about the line of scrimmage. Maybe got a half yard.
Florida State pressure. He's got game. Nobody was open anywhere.
Jackson was the guy that finished him off. O.J. Jackson, a sophomore.
A lot of young defensive linemen are going to get the opportunity to play for Florida State. Both Jacksons, O.J. included. Chris Woods.
Second down and 9. Engelman from the shotgun. And it'll take too much time. They whistle it dead. Just when BYU was moving in the right direction, they're going to move back.
Prior to the snap, ball start, offense, 5 yards, still second down.
Now they're back outside the 36. 304 wins for Bobby Bowden, 251 for Lavelle Edwards. The 555 victories, far and away the most ever in a regular season college football game by two coaches on opposing sides. It's just phenomenal, isn't it?
That's interesting. Yeah, you'd think Bear Bryant coached against some good ones back then.
Second and 14. Engelman lofts one out. It's underthrown, and Hooks brought it down. First down near the 10-yard line. Looked like Cleavon Thomas was going to have a shot at that, but he couldn't get his hands on it.
Well, he just threw it up. There were two defenders there, and Hooks came down with it. Thomas and Hope were the defenders.
And for the first time all night, BYU has a little hope now.
Just throwing it up. Margin Hooks.
Good catch.
Caught 60 balls last year, 7 touchdowns. And he is their go-to guy, no question about it.
Florida State, I believe, has taken a timeout with 8:23 remaining in the third quarter. And Margin Hooks will come over to talk to his head coach. His team trailing 22-0.
At first, it looks like an ordinary piece of paper. But then, we place a sesame seed bun right in the middle. We add 1/4 pound of beef heaven, then cheese, pickles, onions, tomatoes, and lettuce. Then slowly, we wrap. Oh yeah, that is one lucky piece of paper. Got the urge?
You know those late fees your bank charges? Maybe they're not your fault after all. Just to be sure, Discover Card lets you pay your bill online. So take control, and remember there's always something more to discover.
This is a rental car. It's just a car, not even your car. So what's the big difference when you're choosing? Price. You search, get the rates, and what you're really looking for is a great car at a low rate. That's thrifty. Just the things you'd expect from a worldwide car rental company. Things like great cars, great service, airline miles, Blue Chip Express program, the works, and at a low rate. So the next time you need a rental car, call Thrifty. Just what you want, just Thrifty.
The phenomenon continues on ABC.com. Go online to the ABC.com store and get cool stuff or play Millionaire anytime. Click on ABC.com today.
BYU looking for any kind of spark during that timeout, and Hans Olsen came over and got in his quarterback's face and said, we need points and we need them now.
That's
just outside the 10.
The senior talking to a sophomore right there.
Horton in motion. Engelman lofts it out, intended for Peterson. Penalty marker down. Flag thrown in the direction of Tommy Polley. And let's see if he was caught holding. Nope, it's going the other way.
Yeah, that was just good coverage all the way around by the secondary of the Seminoles.
So just when BYU got it down close, just outside the 10. They're talking about this penalty. They're thinking about declining it. Now they'll walk it back.
Holding, offense, 10 yards, previous spot, still first down.
It's thrown on the left side of the field. It might have been the left tackle, Dustin Reichert. There's the takedown right in front of Engelman.
Yeah, the takedown.
Yep.
And that was the left tackle.
So now it's 1st and 19. McDonald and Sataki behind Engelman. Two tight end set, lone wideouts, Jonathan Pittman. Florida State showing blitz. They back out of it. Engelman's in trouble anyway. They're draped all over him. Eric Powell, Alonzo Jackson.
Prior to the ball being snapped, we have a delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So they've backed up 14 yards in the last two plays.
Yeah.
I didn't say one thing here. They can run their offense now. Margin Hooks comes back in. So does Brian McDonald into the backfield.
You look around this stadium, and there aren't many fans dressed in blue.
Nope. A lot of garnet and gold, and they really came to life for their defense, trying to make it hard for BYU to hear down this end of the field. From the shotgun. Engelman heat again, flag again. Jamal Reynolds just flying around that corner, but the penalty marker's at the line of scrimmage. Busy officiating crew here the last 4 or 5 plays.
Right to the snap. Ball start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Remember, they had it. The original line of scrimmage was just outside the 10-yard line. Now it's outside the 30-yard line.
3 penalties in a row against Lavelle's Cougar offense, and it's as you mentioned, now they're back where they can throw the ball. They have to make a first down now at the 1-yard line or inside the 1. And they're lining up from the 31-yard line.
Both wideouts, Pittman and Hooks, come out to the near side. McDonald late to trot over to flank his quarterback in the gun. Florida State may have been offside that time. I don't see a flag though. Engelman picks it up and fires. Got it complete. Ned Stearns. How about that? But he lost the ball. Florida State's got it. I think Tommy Polley came out of that pile. It was a good play by Stearns until the very end.
Stearns, the backup fullback, catches a nice little swing pass.
I don't see a flag though.
Now he gets away from 2 tacklers. That's Cody. Jennings, number 44, I think knocks it loose and then maybe gets it.
Jennings definitely the guy that stripped him.
Gibson was in there also.
Florida State got it back now at their own 13-yard line. And McCray, got a little delay, got a yard or so.
That's 3 turnovers now for BYU, plus the safety that was really another turnover. It was a fumble in the end zone that they recovered themselves. So starting to turn the ball over, getting a little bit tired here in this heat.
Wanky comes up firing, complete out to Minnis, and looks like he's got a first down at the 24-yard line. Tyson Smith made the stop. There's Robbie Bosco, the quarterback coach, talking things over with his starter tonight, Brett Engelman.
Make the stop at the 25-yard line. First and 10 Seminole.
This is, I tell you what, this is great experience for these young quarterbacks for BYU. They won't come up against any defense any better than this one all year.
Tough learning curve. Wanky throwing deep. Got Minnis again. Out of bounds at the 45. And now you'll hear Snoop. He's been one of his favorite receivers in preseason.
This is what you see down here. You've got just these 2 players on one half of the field. Single coverage, just throw it out there, trust your receiver, give him a chance. 1 foot in bounds.
That's the 6th catch, Bob, for Minnis tonight for 87 yards. They continue to go to their wideouts, and mixing it up well is Chris Wanky. He's got 4 of them out there right now from the gun at the 45 of the Cougars. Has time to scan the field. This one off the fingertips of Jawan Walker. And Javon's got a few catches tonight too, including that touchdown that opened up the game that made it 6-0. Score remains what it was at halftime, 22-0. 7:16 now remaining in the third. Again without the huddle. And Wanky. That one was caught twice out there inside the 40. Trues Bell, who's had a sensational night, including a couple of touchdowns.
He's saying right formation. Ball's on the left hash mark. They got receivers in there. They got 4 receivers, so they're just calling the right formation, strong to the right. Now he's giving them the play.
Third down. A long 4. They need to get to the 35 of the Cougars.
Here they come.
Here's Bolden in motion. Wanky getting some heat from behind. Got it to Bolden. Ball is stripped out of there. Incomplete. Nice job defensively, Jared Lee. Their defensive captain just hung in there with Bolden and knocked it away.
If Bolden would have had control of that ball, he's got enough speed to run away from Lee. Chris does a nice job of seeing the blitz and getting rid of it. Bolden gets him the ball quickly. It's a little behind him. He should have made the catch. If he could have made it, he could have run for a long time.
So Cottrell will have to punt.
Keith Cottrell to punt. Back for BYU. Number 8, Mike Rigel.
Rigel again at the 10-yard line. How many times have we said that tonight? Even when they have to punt, that seems to be where they're punting to for BYU. High lazy kick. See Florida State trying to cover it. It gets a Florida State bounce. And BYU is going to be in a big hole at about the 2-yard line. 37-yard kick. Lavelle Edwards, we've talked about, has had so many sensational quarterbacks in his 29 years. One of them, the lefty, who threw 56 touchdown passes and over 7,700 yards at BYU in the early 80s, is along with us right now. Steve Young. And Steve, I know Lavelle Edwards' announcement about his retirement has had a big effect on all of you guys, not just the quarterbacks, but everybody that ever played for him.
Well, he's been the guy that really represented the BYU football program for, it seems like 100 years, but I know it's only 30. I think he actually coached Brigham Young himself. And but he's been the guy that, I think back in the 70s was willing to throw on first and second down in college. I'd never heard of that. And he was the one that kind of changed the college game in a lot of ways today in Miami, and I give Lavelle a lot of credit for that.
Here's a throw from the end zone, and almost caught out there by Jonathan Pittman. Steve, do you remember your first start for BYU? And you got to sympathize, I guess, with both Peterson and Engelman in this situation.
Oh, no question. I was just thinking about myself watching this game. We opened up against the University of Georgia, and I think I threw 5 interceptions in the first half. And we walked in at halftime, and Lavelle came over and says, "How you feeling?" And I was all pumped up, thinking, we're still in the game. I said, "I think I'm doing great." And he goes, "You're doing great. You just threw 5 interceptions." So, I mean, it's great for Engelman and Peterson. They're going to have some lumps and some tough times, but you're right. I think Bob said it very well, that they have a lot of things to learn today, and you have to learn very quickly at BYU.
There's a give. Brian McDonald, and McDonald squirts out of there, and he might have a first down. Give him a little bit of breathing room. A pickup of 11. We talked about Lavelle Edwards quarterbacks over the years, the great ones, and Steve's obviously one of them. 635 touchdown passes. That 100,000 passing yards is something like 53 miles. As you said, Steve, he maybe didn't invent the passing game, but he sure fine-tuned it, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think, like I said earlier, 20 or 30 years ago, everyone was running the wishbone. He was the guy that that started to throw the ball every down. I mean, every down, no matter if you were behind or ahead. And it really did change the college game. And I think that you look at the guys that have quarterbacked, a lot of those miles were done by a lot of guys that you haven't heard of for a long time, like Mark Wilson and Gary Scheid, even Virgil Carter back in the 60s before Lavelle became head coach, but he was an assistant coach. So there's a lot of guys that take credit for it, but Lavelle's the guy that has done it really, from the head coach position for a long time.
The 3 of his guys, Steve, went on to be #1 draft picks in the NFL, as you mentioned, Wilson, Jim McMahon, and yourself. And I think talking to Vel yesterday, he said, back then we almost had to do it because we weren't getting the best of athletes. We had to do something different in the passing game, which he knew inside and out was their edge against other teams.
Pass.
Not a question. I mean, it was the way that we won, it seemed like every division conference title for many, many years. Holiday Bowls was memorable games against SMU and Michigan and Missouri, and I think that it was the great equalizer. Even in our conference, I don't know that we were the most talented, but certainly I think the pass, and back then especially before everyone got up to speed with it, gave us the great advantage that we needed.
Well, 2 of you guys, you and Jim, both went on to Super Bowl glories. Ty Detmer won a Heisman, but everybody, when it seemed that we're playing for Lavelle Edwards at quarterback, their pass efficiency rating was just about off the board, and we're going to take a look at that after this snap. A 3rd down and 10. And right now, Brett Engelman would just like to improve his pass efficiency on this play. Van Horten in motion. Engelman stands tall down the middle and got it complete. Margin hooks, and it looks like it's good enough for a first down, a pickup of about 12 out across the 25-yard line. Now look at the pass efficiency career marks. Danny Werfel, 163.6, and then look how many guys from BYU show up in the top 9. That's phenomenal.
5 of the top 9 BYU quarterbacks, and that just says volumes to me about Lavelle Edwards.
You know, it reminds me also that it seemed like in college everybody was open, and then we went. And then you go pro, and I know Chris Wanke's going to have to face the same thing. Everybody's open in college, but when you go pro, it seems like no one's open.
I remember those days.
Slip screen is incomplete. Margin hooks. You talk about Chris Wanke, Steve. Here he is, 28 years old, still playing in college. So he's going to be 29 when he gets a snap, maybe next year in an NFL preseason game. If I'm not mistaken, I think you were maybe 24 when you made your first start for Tampa Bay, weren't you?
Yeah, I was a young kid. I came out of the USFL, played a couple years there under the great Sid Gilman. And, you know, he's going to have to face, Roger Staubach came out of the Navy at 28 and had a wonderful career. There's a lot of good years if you stay healthy. I think he can do fine. I just, like I say, any young quarterback in the NFL, make sure you learn the pro game as quickly as possible, because if you don't, they'll throw you out of town. And so you got to beat it. You got to beat the clock.
Draw play, and that one's going nowhere for Ned Stearns. How much withdrawal are you going through right now, Steve, not playing?
Well, you know, I was just sitting here with my wife, feeling our baby kick in her stomach, and I thought to myself, it's pretty cool watching football and doing that. It's been, you miss the competition. You miss the intensity of the competition in the NFL, but it's time to move on and making changes in my life. It's great.
Well, get out on the golf course. What that competition.
From the founder of this university down through you, and you got a brother out here playing right now. Well, he's not playing right now, but he's on this team.
Yeah, he is, number 36, my dad's old number.
Here's Engelman under a blitz. Throws, got a man, complete out to the 40-yard line, Jonathan Pittman. And we're going to take a look at Jimmy right now. There he is on the sideline.
The only linebacker in the Young family, all quarterbacks except for that kid right there. And he always says the quarterbacks are wusses. So, he's taken a beating in our family. But he just got off a church mission for 2 years, so he's trying to get his sea legs and football back. But he's a fine young player and a great guy.
I know he's a heck of a lacrosse player, was on their national championship team. So he's out there, and we got him a little FaceTime by Big Brother being on the phone with us today.
That's as close as he is going to get today.
Here's first down from the 40. Engelman off a play fake. Lobs. It's got a wide open tight end. Ofa Hingawe still going. And it's down to about the 33-yard line. And Steve, right now, Engelman's got a little bit of something going on.
Yeah, I want to make sure they score. I don't want that shutout. I saw that stat you mentioned earlier, Brad, with 300 and some odd games. And going down there in the fumble just recently, I'd like to see them down and make sure they get some scores. The defense has been very stiff today.
Yep.
And the defense continues to play like that. They're going to have to carry this offense for a couple of weeks until they get their sea legs as well. And, obviously this game isn't over. I think that I saw Olsen screaming at the quarterback last time out. I don't know how many guys need to be yelling at the rookie quarterback in the sidelines in his face.
That's how those defensive guys are. You know that.
Engelman waits and then lofts it and incomplete, and a flag flies in. I don't know if we're going to have a holding call on Florida State secondary, but the intended receiver would have been Ben Horton, who really never got out in his pattern. And there's the new linebacker coach, Joe Kynes, who's spent the last 5 years at Georgia, but a longtime friend and comrade of Mickey Andrews, who's right behind him. Those guys have been steaming all night, even though they're pitching a shutout so far. But then, Mickey looks like that when he goes fishing with his grandkids on the Okeechobee. So, I mean, he never gets happy.
10-yard penalty.
And it is a holding call. And an automatic first down.
Well, maybe we'll get a touchdown for BYU while we got Steve on the phone.
We better keep Steve on right now. The Cougars got something
bringing
going.
Him all the luck.
Yeah. Maybe you ought to come back and coach.
Whoa, easy.
Yeah.
This drive started, remember, for the Cougars back at their own 3-yard line.
I know Barb doesn't want to hear that.
Now at the 23. As Steve Young mentioned, 312 games without a shutout. Pass incomplete. Intended for Horton. It'll be second down at 10.
Brad, speaking about Lavelle Edwards and number 36, my dad's old number, we used to joke that my dad was led the conference in rushing in 1957 or something like that with like 320 yards. And I used to joke with him when I was playing for BYU that we get that in a half.
Yeah, they moved it up and down the field a little differently in those days. Well, Lavelle has been around 29 years, third winningest active coach in football. Watching his team with a 2nd and 10 right now. Draw play. Sataki. Whew. Tommy Polly says hello. Man. Speed at linebacker.
Well, Tommy Polly tore his knee up in the championship game in the Sugar Bowl. And he is back. He didn't start the game, but number 29 plays that will linebacker spot. And what an athlete he was in high school, and he's continued at Florida State.
So here's what Steve Young used to love. 3rd down and 12. But then he had Jerry Rice and some of those guys out there. And we got a couple players a little bit winded, I think, as Florida State's trainers have come out. They're going to change up some fresh bodies right now. So everybody getting a breather. Thasco in '84, National Coach of the Year that season. 20 conference titles. Look at the top 25 finishes. 22 bowl games. There have been a lot of great moments, and he just made it so matter-of-factly with us yesterday. He just said, you know, it's just time. It's time to go do something else. Yeah. Football has never been my whole life. It's been a huge part of my life.
Well, before Lavelle got to BYU, they only had 16 winning seasons in 47 years, and since then they've averaged 9 wins per year and led the nation in passing 8 different times. So Lavelle has certainly made an impact on college football.
3rd down and 12. The biggest 3rd down, obviously, of the night for BYU. Both wideouts to the near side. They'd like to get it to Hooks. Here comes heavy pressure, just throwing it up. Incomplete as Engelman falling down as he backpedaled and never had a chance to find a receiver.
I think he was tripped by the remaining back that was stepping up to pick up the blitzing linebacker. Watch the back that's remaining right there. Looks like he trips him.
Yep.
I know Steve agree with me. We quarterbacks are more agile. We're not going to stumble going back, setting up 5 steps.
Oh, it's impossible. It's got to be somebody else's fault.
It's got to be an offensive lineman stepping on a foot or the back.
Well, let's break that scoreless thing right now. 312 games without being shut out. Owen Potchman from 42 yards can keep the longest streak in college football alive. And he got it. With Steve Young along for the ride, Potchman makes it 22-3. And Steve, with that, I can tell you right now, I know you're newlywed, you got a baby on the way. Barb's not going to let you watch this much football all the time, okay?
Well, as long as BYU's on national TV, he says I'm in good shape.
All right, partner. Steve, thanks for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Steve.
Steve Young recently retired from the San Francisco 49ers and about 5 years away from going to Canton, and we appreciate him being along with us tonight. One of the many, many great quarterbacks that gentleman has coached. So, Florida State still hasn't scored now this quarter. They've gone almost 13 minutes, and BYU's trying to hang in. As Steve Young said, you know, this football game's not over.
Well, you never know in the first game of the year.
Right now what BYU's got to be thinking is if we could get a turnover, then they could start to think about getting back in the football game. A 73-yard drive took a little over 4 minutes. It only netted them 3, but that's something that they can hang their helmets on now. Potchman will kick. Nick Maddox, Jeff Chaney back deep to receive. And it's Maddox about 7 yards deep. He's talking about NFL football. Terrell Davis and the Denver Broncos will take out the MVP of the Super Bowl, Kurt Warner and the St. Louis Rams. Join Al Michaels and company, and that includes Fauci and Dennis and Eric. Everybody will be there. That's Labor Day, September 4th, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific. Monday Night Football. And there's 2 pretty good running backs in you.
2 pretty good running backs. Terrell Davis is back and healthy, and what a year Marshall Falk had last year, huh?
I said to you today, I said, Brian having fun, and you said he's having a lot more fun with Terrell Davis behind him, right?
That's for sure.
Here's Travis Minor out of the backfield, and penalty markers fly late into the backfield.
Screen pass complete to number 23, Travis Minor.
Kelly, the linebacker, makes the hit. The flag was thrown in the pocket. I don't know if there was a late hold on Florida State. I think there was. They might want to decline that one because they got a pretty good stop on the play. Bill Lemonnier, the head referee, the Big Ten crew.
Holding. Offense. Penalty is declined. Second down.
Yeah, they could decline it because Isaac Kelly made such a nice play on Travis Minor, and they don't have to give up the down.
Yeah, one of the other rules changes this year that was initiated was they're allowing, in college now, they're allowing the quarterback to intentionally ground the ball. He's got to be outside the pocket, similar to the NFL rule, but he can ground the ball to avoid a loss of yardage.
That was lost yardage by Minor, but it was the first pass completion also to a non-wide receiver. They go right back to the wide outs. Nice move by Minnis. Puts a little shake on there and got about 6 back. Justin Etta, the linebacker, made the hit.
And I missed him, and he's just waited around. And he came back to him.
Wanky, 2 touchdowns, 234 yards, and 7 different guys.
Those are good numbers, but I'm sure Chris will tell you that we didn't get in the end zone.
I did one of the games that Peter Warwick missed last year, and Chris Wanky had 11 different receivers in that ball game. That was against Miami. And this time his arms hit as he throws, and Minor still made the catch, but loses yardage going out of bounds. Going to be a completed pass, but a loss way back to the 11-yard line.
Better off letting that one drop.
Yep. Well, Hoke and Olsen and the boys got a little pressure, and here comes Florida State to punt again. That's their 4th 3 and out in the last 5 possessions. So Cottrell now, this time at least he's not punting from midfield, and Regel's back there thinking, you know, maybe I can get a decent return and get it into Florida State territory.
And they're going to need some help because offensively, I don't think you can score enough points offensively. You got to get a break on special teams.
Here's Regel from the 42. And he is almost going to get into Florida State territory. Got it back to the 49-yard line. There's Hans Olsen. And we said both Phil Olsen and Merlin Olsen, who both played in the NFL, won a Hall of Famer. Merlin taught Hans the head slap. This is what he told us about it.
It was when I was in junior high, and he pulls me out there and he says, well, you make sure you get low. And I was like, well, Merlin, remember, we don't have pads on. You get low. I'm like, Merlin, we don't have pads on. And then your head slap. I try to get a couple head slaps in during a game, just in respect of the other Olsens that have come through and gone.
Oh, is he a piece of work? Engelman in the pocket looking for some help, and fumble. That ball was dead. And he lost only about a yard before that ball squirted out of there. I imagine Merlin Olsen gave you a head slap or two.
Oh, boy. You know, I was telling, you know, Merlin was very quiet. He was right next to me because he was a defensive tackle right next to the ball and could have said lots of things. Never said a word, but was always back in my backfield. But the guy next to him on the end, Deacon Jones, he was talking all the time. He said, I'm coming now, Bob. You know, I'm coming. I wasn't worried about Deacon. I was worried about Merlin.
Well, that's just a piece of our conversation with Hans Olsen. We've got more in the 4th quarter, which is winding close. Here's Hooks. Did he catch it, drop it, and get it? Nope, they're going to say incomplete. Either way, he had his hands on the football, but he never quite had possession. And we're down to 7 seconds. That's 5 drop balls by BYU. So really, the quarterbacks have done a relatively good job.
Engelman is 12 of 27, 139 yardage and an interception. Both BYU quarterbacks have had one picked off. Peterson 5 of 14 for 74 yards.
Engelman seems to have gotten this 3rd quarter going pretty much in the right direction for BYU offensively. It'll be interesting to see now if he stays in. Flags fly before the snap.
Substitution infraction on the offense. Broke the huddle with 12 players. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
There's the one you were talking about earlier, Bob.
Yeah. Well, that's one that was in before. You can't have 12 players in the huddle and then break the huddle. Now, I'm sure Lavelle wasn't trying to deceive anybody. It was just a mix-up. First game of the year, you had 12 guys in the huddle, and you say, hey, we got too many receivers. Get out of here, and they all break the huddle at the same time.
BYU 5 penalties this half, all on their offense, and this one has backed them up to a 3rd and 16 in the waning seconds of the 3rd quarter. They trail 22, second in the country. 2 touchdown passes in the first half from Chris Wenke. Atruz Bell scored on an end around, and they scored a safety. And here's another reverse. This time Gardner broke 1 tackle, but doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage.
Let's go back and take a look at that last interception for a young quarterback. Something to learn. Here's Engelman here. He wants to hit the tight end coming in over this, but look at the free safety back over here. Now look at Engelman as he looks at the receiver the whole way.
Got him, Billy.
Right there. He looks at him the whole way. Guy picks it off.
Wenke down the middle and caught. Sprague, the tight end. That's the first catch by a tight end tonight, and he goes right down the middle to the 20-yard line. He was the starter last year. Nick Franklin came in as the starter tonight, but Sprague is the better of the two as far as a receiver. Franklin's a big bully of a blocker. And Ryan Sprague's got a first down. Just inside the 20-yard line. Florida State was shut out in that 3rd quarter. That doesn't happen often.
Blitz.
Take the pitch and look out. Oh, got sandwiched back there.
I hated that. Whenever the defense had a blitz and I turned my back, I hated that. I hated to do play action when they, because you don't know
fear of the unknown.
Well, you don't know where they're going to be when you turn around. You see them coming, and then when you carry out the fake, and now you got no chance to get rid of the ball quickly, which is what you have to do if you can't pick up the blitz.
Well, at the very end there, Chris Wenke got his knees up in the air. It looked like he was going to take a wicked high-low shot.
Yeah, this is one of the few times, Brad, that they've been in the huddle. They've done this no huddle all of the evening. It's no problem for Florida State not to huddle. They can do it very nicely from the.
This time they fake the end around, and Miner keeps it on the sweep, and he's knocked down on his tracks.
I'll tell you,
by Brett Kiesel.
His BYU defense has awakened in the second half.
One of the only other times that Florida State huddled was when they were at that 6-yard line and ran that end around that Atruz Bell scored on.
Usually it might disrupt the defense a little bit because of tempo and all that other stuff, but I think at halftime Ken Schmidt and the defensive coaches for BYU got that straightened out, and this defense is really playing well.
3rd down and 18. They're showing blitz. They back out of it, and here comes the pressure anyway. Wenke, they got him. Drop back at the 31, and Denny's there, and so is Olsen.
Behind the line of scrimmage by number 92, Ryan Denny.
And Bobby right now is probably saying, "Dadgummit, what's going on?"
Yeah, he's saying, "What happened? We were doing pretty good in the first half, 22-0, and we haven't scored anything this second half."
Well, you see the pressure coming from Kiesel, and then they stay with it, and Ryan Denny gets the sack.
This defense was second in the conference last year. BYU first against the run. Ranked 21st in the nation.
This time last year, Sebastian Janikowski would be knocking one from way back there.
This would be a chip shot.
Yeah. Cottrell into punt. Going to try to keep one high in the air off the side of his foot. It's not a good kick unless it takes a great bounce. It's not a good kick.
Well, they gained there about 7 yards.
Maybe 6. Timeout. 22-3 Seminoles. Near the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Charlie Peterson's back in at quarterback for Brigham Young as they work just inside the 24-yard line. Keep it on the ground. That netted him about 2, maybe 3. Brian McDonald. Florida State's defense has been tough tonight on both quarterbacks, whether it be in a blitz or when the pass is overthrown. Brett Engelman has tasted the pocket. There was their best chance, really, right there to score a touchdown, and then the interception. The 3rd of the night by their defense. They led the nation last year in interceptions with 22. 2nd down and 7. Both wideouts to the near side for Peterson, but they'll keep it on the ground again, and it's Brian McDonald again. Remember, Staley, their starting tailback, went out shaken up in the first half, then got dinged, and they were asking him where he was, and he's not going to return, and he was their biggest threat as a running back.
Like June is dinged a little bit there.
Gene June, who played a good ball game, and he's pointing at his left wrist.
He was a walk-on. Actually, he's a captain. He's a co-captain. He's the special teams captain, the backup linebacker.
We've got a timeout with 10:54 remaining with the injury. We'll be right back.
Back when most players assumed that offense won basketball games, he proved that defense could dominate. He revolutionized the game as the league's original shot blocker. Back then, they didn't even keep track of block shots. But because of Bill Russell, they do now.
When you're an original, you do it your own way. Original Coors.
Original Coors. Knock one down.
Yeah, like I could ever get in that kind of shape. Well, you know what? I can. In fact, that is me. I started using EAS nutritional supplements and followed their simple plan. Combines nutrition and exercise. And 8 weeks later, here I am. Wow, look at me.
Get the EAS advantage.
Now it's your turn.
Meet the all-new Aztec. Meet Sam and Kate. They're about to swing to the beat.
Is that loud enough?
Crank it. Aren't we swingers?
Definitely.
2, 1. Whoops. Guess I'm just not a swinger.
Next day.
Have a revelation.
It's looking like another sick day.
So what are you thinking about?
Fish. Breakfast is swimming in.
What do you want to do today?
Stay in and watch television. Meet Aztec. Quite possibly the most versatile vehicle on the planet. By Pontiac.
So a third down and a long 5.
They've had 15 third down situations. 12 have been 3rd and 10 or more. You're not going to make many of those.
No, this is their shortest one of the night, in fact. Peterson steps and waits. Incomplete. Had time to throw. And Margin Hooks was intended receiver, and he threw it in the ground. And they're going to have to give it up again.
4th and 5 at the 28.
You're right. He figured he had him. He just threw it in the ground.
So Aaron Edmonds, who's been roughed once tonight, they got everybody up. And remember, they're using their backup long snapper after Holtry was injured. He dribbled one back there last time. This one's a little bit high, but he manages it. End over end punt. And it's going to go out of bounds. Bolden will not have an opportunity to return it. It's going to be near the 41-yard line with 10 minutes, 27 seconds remaining in the ball game. Seminoles 22, Cougars 3.
Meet the all-new Aztec. Meet Sam and Kate. They're about to
blaze a trail.
Pine.
It's not pine.
Next day.
Use the net.
You know what this means?
What?
We're going global.
We're going global, huh?
Yeah.
Watch out for Greenland. Meet Aztec. Quite possibly the most versatile vehicle on the planet. By Pontiac.
Mom, Dad, remember how my rent was earning me airline miles?
Yeah, that rewards program?
Scrap it. I'm not going anywhere. Mark. What I want now is merchandise, preferably brand name, and I've been kicking some numbers around. I've already earned the television. That's going upstairs. Give me a hand with this, Dad, please. Dad.
You want brand name merchandise?
Yeah.
What does this look like, a Holiday Inn?
Points, miles, or merchandise. Holiday Inn gives you more, and more is better.
At first, it looks like an ordinary piece of paper. But then, we place a sesame seed bun right in the middle. We add 1/4 pound of beef heaven, then cheese, pickles, onions, tomatoes, and lettuce. Then slowly, we wrap. Oh yeah, that is one lucky piece of paper. Got the urge?
Spanish sensation Sergio Garcia, Tiger Woods, the Lincoln Financial Group Battle at Bighorn. Monday night at 8, 5 Pacific on ABC.
Florida State trying a little inside draw play to Davie Ford that went nowhere at all. In fact, a loss of about 3.
Stop behind the line of scrimmage.
This Florida State offense in the second half has had 21 plays and 39 yards.
5 punts on 5 possessions.
So they have sputtered in the second half. Wenke comes up firing. He's got Walker. And Walker will improve those totals as he gets it in to Cougar territory. Looks like a first down. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, more college football on ABC. It's the Kickoff Classic. Joe Pa will lead out his Nittany Lions. They'll take on Carson Palmer and the team, one of the co-favorites anyway, in the Pac-10, the Trojans of USC. Keith Jackson, Tim Brandt, Todd Harris will bring you that action from the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey, our second football game of the weekend on ABC Sports.
It'll be interesting to see what Joe Paterno and Penn State have up there this year.
New defensive coordinator after Jerry Sandusky's retirement.
Lost a lot of good defensive players.
Yeah, they did, boy.
Harrington and
Short and Courtney Brown, and the list goes on and on. The all-time winningest coaches, of course, Joe Paterno active with 317, looking for 318 tomorrow. The next 2 guys are right here on this field. Second down at 4. Wenke throws incomplete. Bolden was open and threw it wide.
One of the problems with a no-huddle offense, when you're not, Wenke's limping a little bit there. Did he get hit? Didn't see him get hit. But anyway, one of the things when the no-huddle is not working is you give up the ball very quickly. And sometimes the defense and Mickey Andrews will go to the offense and Mark Rick and say, hey, come out of it. Take more time. We need a break on the sideline because if you're not successful keeping the ball, we're right back out there.
He's going deep. Got a man out there. Flag down. Caught it anyhow. And it's Minnis again. And that'll put him over 100 yards receiving. Isaiah Joyner was back there joining him in the secondary, and flags all over the place.
Joyner is a redshirt freshman playing in his first game and just can't keep up with Snoop Minnis.
Defense. Penalty is declined. Result of the play. First down.
He's got single coverage, all that space out there. Minnis sees the ball and goes after it and gets it.
8th catch for Minnis for 129 yards. First and goal, Florida State. Wenke to throw again. Scans the field, goes to the corner, incomplete. Snoop Minnis said in the preseason, he said, granted, Peter Warwick was a great receiver. Said Pete was our best player, but nobody knows anything about me because I really haven't had a chance to get up to the plate. And he said, I'm going to get my bat appearances this year, and by the 3rd week of the season, everybody in the country is going to know me. I think already, and maybe they know him in the first week.
I think they do.
That's the last catch, and boy, that was nice concentration. 4 wideouts, and now they'll empty the backfield as Chaney is in motion. They're going to swing it out, trying to get it to Bolden. Can't quite get it in his hands. He's the guy that has the open field moves that they just drool about. So it's 3rd and goal.
See, the timing on that play was all messed up. Bolden took a little bit longer to turn and face the quarterback. Chris couldn't wait very long because the blitz was coming at him, and he had to throw it when he did.
3rd and goal at the 9.
Here they come.
BYU's going to bring some pressure. Wenke's got to get rid of it, and it's incomplete. They did a nice job to get the pressure on, and then Jared Lee was back there in the secondary to help break it up.
See, that's the reason. That's the problem with using play action inside the 10-yard line, because they're blitzing, and you turn around and they're right in your face. I'd much rather just drop back and the guys run in there and stick it with them, rather than turn my back to the line of scrimmage.
You know that Bobby Bowden wants to get this young fella a field goal because he missed one earlier. He missed an extra point earlier. And he'll line up from 27 yards from the right hash mark, trying to get his first field goal. And he missed that one too. That's going to drive that coach crazy this week. Score remains 22-3.
Hey, Shannon, I'll give you 2.
See if Winky can get this offense geared up again here near the end of the ball game. He's firing complete. Robert Morgan. Morgan to the 45, maybe the 46 will give him 8. And again, Winky's mixed it up well with his receivers tonight.
Robert Morgan.
He's thrown a few to his tight ends and his backs, but not many. Minnis has 8 receptions, as does Walker. They are both wide receivers. Bell and Bolden, both wide receivers, both have 4 apiece.
Second down and short. Couple to go for the first down. So we hit the 5-minute mark. Here's a toss. Travis Minor across midfield, and Travis goes to about the 48-yard line. Anna brings him down, a pickup of 7 for Travis Minor, the senior out of Baton Rouge.
Gain of about 7. Stop by Justin Allen.
Travis, a Doak Walker candidate, one of 35 this year around college football, as all the various awards have picked their possible candidates, and we keep paring them down until early December. I think there's 70 on the Butkus watch list this year.
Oh, there's a ton of them.
Yep. At the 47, first down. Wanky waits too long. Down he goes from behind. Brett Kiesel's got another one. That's the 5th sack for Brigham Young tonight. So their front wall has done a pretty good job of getting pressure on Chris Wanky. Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida. Nice nights, cooled off a little bit now in the Advantage Pigskin Classic. Florida State has not scored this half. It's still 22-3. Wanky a couple of touchdown passes in the first half. Atruz Bell scored on a reverse, and they got a safety after Fred Engelman, their quarterback, was hit by Jamal Reynolds, and the ball squirted all the way to the end zone. That's their scoring for the night. 2nd and 16. Nice play fake by Wanky. Wants it all. Going long. Bell's out there. Penalty markers down. And we're going to have pass interference again. Darius Wilson this time staying with the junior from right here in Jacksonville.
As a look at the pass protection, little
Pass
play action.
Defense.
Bell just kind of shields off. He was interfered with, but he was just kind of blocking him off. He saw the ball coming. He blocked Wilson off and just couldn't make the play. Wilson had him draped over his shoulder.
21st penalty of the ball game. The 10th against BYU, 11 against Florida State. Something you would expect, I guess, in the early portion of the college football season, much like we see in preseason games in the NFL.
You say 20 penalties?
21. There it is.
Florida State's thrown the ball 48 times. BYU's thrown it 46.
Wanky's going to do it again. Incomplete. That one intended for Nick Maddox, converted running back who's now a wide receiver. You know, earlier we asked you about the rankings. Who should be the preseason #1? As we told you, Florida State is #2. Nebraska in both polls was the #1. But we had a chance to ask you to vote online tonight, and the fans' vote says Florida State 54%, Nebraska 46%. Obviously, a lot of those jumped online from Tallahassee, maybe, but you know, you actually have to wonder, as ridiculous as this sounded in week 1, if Florida State only puts 22 points on the board, do some people think they're not even worthy of where they're supposed to be? There are going to be some people that think that now.
Well, what do you think, Brad? Should the defending champion from last year automatically be ranked #1 the next football season?
I know you think not.
I don't think so.
Well, when you lose so many people, it's a whole new team.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a whole new year and a whole new team.
I think if you could bring everybody back body for body, absolutely. But then that's...
Yeah. But you don't have Sebastian Janikowski, and you don't have Peter Warwick,
you
and you don't have
Jerry Johnson,
Dugan,
Corey Simon,
and a bunch of them. And you got a bunch of new guys. And Nebraska's got a lot of guys back on offense and a great quarterback. So
Nebraska has more starters back on both sides of the ball than Florida State does. And we asked Bobby Bowden about the fact that he's not #1 and that Nebraska is.
They would deserve any ranking you could give them. You got to put them up every year. And they're probably, what, 8 teams right now. One of us will win the national championship. One of us will get lucky. One of us won't have critical injuries. One of us will get a couple of bounces and win it.
There was even a rumor that floated around Lincoln that there were T-shirts that Nebraska was wearing saying Florida State anytime, any place, and that has proven apparently to be a falsehood. And there's also T-shirts at Florida State that I think is fact that says repeat on one side and no excuses on the other side. So both those teams are thinking they'd love to end up in the Orange Bowl, Swanee.
Yeah.
There it is. Swanee's got one already.
Absolutely.
You know that one's going back to Pittsburgh, too. I mean,
absolutely. It'll be good to work out in.
There it is.
You know, Bobby, he may talk funny sometimes, but he don't think funny.
Nope. Second down and 9. On the corner. A pretty good run by Travis Minor. Knocked out of bounds by Tyson Smith again.
Travis Minor.
Pickup of 8.
Knocked out of bounds by.
And it's going to be third down and about a long 2, maybe 3.
Well, you know, you come out in the first game of the year. It's not like the NFL where you have preseason games. You can go out and find out who's doing what and how you're playing. I mean, they come out and they drop the bell, the arm, and the bell rings, and you play for real. It hasn't been the best showing for Florida State, but they came out. They're going to win the football game, and
they almost scored right there with their fullback McCray.
And I think one of the things you want to do, like the NFL does, we don't get anybody hurt.
Right.
Especially Lavelle going in to his conference. He'd like to get through this tough non-conference schedule with Syracuse and Virginia and Mississippi State, and not have any serious injuries where he could go into the conference and maybe have a chance to win that conference.
You saw that young ABC fan there with their signage. First and goal now at the 5-yard line. You know, for Florida State, once they get through this, they'll be 1-0. Then they get a week off, and then they travel to Atlanta to meet Georgia Tech in a game you'll see on ABC.
And everybody thinks since Joe Hamilton has left Georgia Tech that team is done. Don't be surprised.
Here's Travis Minor, got the corner, touchdown. Travis Minor, 5-yard touchdown run.
Nice block by McCray in front of him, too. He's running right alongside of him, and he says, "Where were you last year?" He was out with a knee injury, but watch the fullback, number 36. To the left of your screen, right there.
Oh, that's nice. Just getting past the pylon is Travis Minor. Extra point. Munyon's got it up and good. As we go down to Swanee.
Well, Brad, I am down here with Patty Edwards, and she was cheering when Chris Winkie got sacked, and she wasn't quite as happy when they marched down for the score. Patty, take us through the process. Lavelle announced his retirement. Did you guys have a discussion, or did he do a coach's thing and just say, "Honey, I'm done"?
No, we had a discussion. A lot went into it, and a lot of thought went into it. And I'm excited. I'm excited about it.
What's the most exciting thing about him retiring for you?
I'll get to have him by myself once in a while. And then we can do some things that we want to do. You know, he's accomplished about all there is to accomplish in football. And now we can climb another mountain and do some fun things.
What do you think this last year is going to be like for him?
Exciting.
A little difficult, maybe?
I don't think so. I don't think so. He has confidence in the kids. It's going to be a fun year.
Well, we look forward to watching him. We have such respect for him. He's been such a great person for college football. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Short kick taken at the 15 by Peterson. Fumble! Who's on top of it? At the 30-yard line. BYU says they kept possession. And they did. ABC Sports presentation of the Advantage Pigskin Classic, brought to you by Advantage Nutritional Products. Smart nutrition for active people. The all-new 2001 Aztec from Pontiac, quite possibly the most versatile vehicle on the planet. Original Coors. When you're an original, you do it your own way. Original Coors. And EDS. EDS, managing the complexities of e-business. Fireworks over Alltel Stadium and over the St. John River tonight during the course of the game. The fireworks, for the most part, have belonged to Florida State. 29-3 here with just over a minute remaining in the ball game. And up the middle. Still some tagging going on. There's some backup players in there that want to get more and more time, don't they?
Yeah.
48 seconds and the clock winding down. Our Chevrolet players of the game for tonight. Here they are. Justin Enna, who was in on 13 tackles, and Chris Wenke, 50 passes, 318 yards, and 2 touchdowns. In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Our congratulations to Justin and Chris. Peterson on a handoff, and only out to about the 37-yard line. It's just about going to do it. And we wish Lavelle Edwards the best. It's probably the last time we'll see him this year, but we will see him down the line. He is a class act, and he has touched so many young football players' lives. And his opening game of his 29th and final season did not go the way he had hoped. Bobby Bowden wins it over his old buddy. 29-3 is the final score. ABC Sports is online at bcsfootball.com. For Bob Greasy and Lynn Swan, I'm Brad Nessler. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, continuing the tradition of excellence.
BYU QB Brett Engelman under siege. Hit from behind, ball loosened in the end zone. BYU recovers, but the Noles get the 2-point safety. At that point, they're up 15-zip. Second quarter, 1st and 10. Wenke. Look at the big guy taking off. They say he can't run, he can't move. Look at that. 21-yard gain. Next play. Wenke to Davey Ford. Truesbell. Look at Wenke leading the block. Bell with the touchdown. Bobby Bowden and his Noles having some fun as they put one on BYU. 29-3. Wenke's numbers. He threw for 318 yards. Not turn it over. No interceptions and 2 touchdowns. For Florida State, they now have 22 straight